Good morning to all. I hope you all are doing well at your home and keeping yourself healthy. I, Ms. Gunjan Daswani from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota, welcome you all to the e-learning classes of English grammar. So let's see what are punctuations. Punctuation is the use of various signs or marks in written language to bring the clarity to the meaning of a sentence or passage. They are very important as it helps us to understand a sentence in a correct way. So, I can say if I say a paragraph without any pause, without any break in between, will you able to understand it? No. So, there is a requirement of getting a pause, and with these punctuation marks we are having a pause in a sentence or in a paragraph. So, they are very useful for us to understand the sentence they are very useful as it helps us to understand the sentence in a clear way. It gives us the clarity. So, you can see she brought milk, eggs and bread. So, after milk there is a comma, and in the last there is a full stop. So, that is what is a punctuation. That is what is punctuation marks. Rahul said, comma, quotation mark open, what a beautiful painting, exclamation mark, and then quotation mark closed. So, these are what the marks that are highlighted in red are punctuation marks, and if I say a sentence without any pause in between, you are not going to understand it, but with the correct pause you are able to understand it clearly. So, now we will see the uses of these punctuations. We will first start with the full stop. We used a full stop after the end of a sentence. You can see full stop. What is a full stop? You can see over here a question mark. This is a question mark when we ask a question, and an exclamation mark. You can see an exclamation mark over here when we express a strong emotion or a command. So, we use full stop after the end of a sentence. It's a normal sentence, not a question, not an exclamatory sentence. So, it's for commanding or for the end of a normal statement, we will be having full stop after it. So, you can see I love to play cricket. This is not a question, this is just a statement. So, after the statement we put a full stop. But what happens when we ask a question? Second example, is this your assignment? This is a question being asked. So, in the question, when we are asking a question and we are writing a question, then we will put question mark after it. Okay. Third, how beautiful the flower pot is. So, this sentence is expressing a strong emotion over here. So, that is why we are having exclamation mark, because it's an exclamatory sentence. We use comma to separate words in a sentence. After introductory words, to separate the name of the listener from the rest of the sentence and to show a pause or a break between parts of a sentence. So, we use comma. You can see comma over here to separate words in a sentence. For example, I am introducing a list to all of you. Then I will use comma in between to have a pause in between. That is why I will be using a comma, and to separate the name of the listener from the rest of the sentence. Let's suppose if I am saying a sentence to a second person, that is the listener. So, I will separate his name or her name from that sentence with the help of a comma. So, you can see some example. You will need eggs, butter, salt and cheese. So, after eggs there is a comma, after butter there is a comma. So, we are separating eggs, butter, salt and cheese. These are the items in the list that we are separating. That is why we are using comma. Yes, that is my elder sister. So, for introductory words, that is yes, or it's no, that's okay. So we use these words, these words are introductory words, and we have to separate it from the rest of the sentence. So we will be having comma after introductory words. Third, Ria, will you come tomorrow? So Ria is the listener over here. That is why I am separating it with the comma, and then there is the rest of the sentence, that is, will you come tomorrow? Fourth sentence, we were late although it didn't matter. So we are breaking the sentence into two parts over here, that is why we used comma. We use an apostrophe to denote the ownership or belonging of something, and in contractions. So we use apostrophe where we are contracting the word, or I can say when we are showing the possession, or that thing belongs to whom, or that thing is of whom. So that time we will be using an apostrophe. That is an apostrophe, you can see over here. So first example, this is Priya's dress. So Priya, after Priya I added apostrophe and then S. I can't say this is Priya dress. Are you able to understand it? No. But after I added apostrophe and then S, then you are understanding that the dress belongs to Priya. So here I am, the apostrophe is showing the ownership of the noun over here. Second sentence, don't walk on the grass. So instead of do not, I put don't, because here I am contracting do not, and for contraction what I use? Apostrophe over here, D-O-N, then apostrophe and then T. We use capital letter to begin a sentence and for proper nouns. So as you all know, this you have studied in your junior classes too, that whenever we begin a sentence, we always start it with the capital letter, and for proper nouns also we denote it with the capital letter only. So you can see cycling is a good form of exercise. You can see it's starting with the cycling word, and because of that C is capital. And in the second sentence you can see I went to London last year. So you can see London is a proper noun. That is why L of London is capital and I is capital, because it's the beginning of the sentence. That is why we have put I capital. And whether, one more thing students, whether I is in between or in the last or at the first place, that I will remain always capital. Remember this thing, okay? We use quotation marks to enclose the exact words spoken by a person, or to enclose title of stories, poems and essays. So we use quotation mark. You can see single quotation marks over here. So we use these marks to enclose the direct speech, that is the exact words spoken by the speaker. So, and to enclose the names of the title of the, I can say the names of poems or stories or essay. So you can see over here, thank you, that's the exact word said by her. That is why I quoted this in quotation mark. Second, R.K. Narayan's story and Astrologer's Day. So that's the name of the story. That is why this is being put in the quotation marks. So the highlighted red marks are what? Quotation marks. We use colon to introduce a list, an explanation, a quote or a definition. It's also used to distinguish the title from subtitle and hours from minutes. So we use colon. You can see what is a colon over here. You can see the sign, the mark of colon, and that is introduced, that is used to introduce a list, or when we are giving an explanation about something, or when we are quoting the things, that time also we will use colon. And then when we are defining something, that a word will come and then colon and then the definition. like this, and it's also used to distinguish the title from the subtitle. Let's see the example. We learned the following at the camp. So, rock climbing, canoeing and rafting. So, we learned the following at the camp. That is, after that what is there? A colon. Because we are introducing a list over here, that is why we put colon after the camp. Second, the snow hardened, colon, it turned into ice. So, here what I am doing is I am separating two sentences, and because it is related, the second sentence is related to the first one. Third one you can see Everest, colon, the last frontier. So, as I told you, it is also used to distinguish the title from the subtitle. So, this is the title and this is the subtitle. That is why to separate this, to distinguish, to see the difference in them, we put colon after the title. Fourth, 11:30 am. Whenever we used to write the time, that time also what we use, that is showing the first two numbers are showing the hours and the last two numbers are showing the minutes. So, to separate hours and minutes, we put colon in between them. Okay. So, this was the use of colon. Now, we will see the use of semicolon. We use semicolon to join two independent sentences that are closely related. It often replaces a conjunction. We use it in a place of commas in a list that has commas within items. So, we use semicolon. You can see what is the sign of semicolon over here, and it is useful to join the two independent clauses, or I can say the two independent sentences that are very much closely related. We will be understanding it by seeing the example. You can see first, Dad is going bad. His hair is getting thinner and thinner. So, I am separating this sentence from this one with a semicolon, because here what is the connection in this sentence? That I am talking about dad only. So, that is why, that is the connection, that is why these two sentences are closely related. Second sentence, I bought shiny ripe apples, semicolon, small sweet juicy grapes, semicolon, and firm pears. So, when we are having commas, and after two commas are used to show a shorter pause than the semicolon. So, semicolon show the longer pause than the commas. So, to separate these two words we use a comma, and to separate the whole thing from this one we used a semicolon. So, I hope I am clear. So, let us start with the exercise. Exercise number A, punctuate and rewrite the following sentences. What you have to do is, you have to put the correct punctuation marks and you have to rewrite the sentence again. Martha memorized the poem The Daffodils by William Wordsworth. So, first of all, we will always begin the sentence with a capital letter. So, Martha's M would be capital. So, you have to capital the letter M. After that, the name of the poem is there, and as I told you, we will be putting the quotation mark whenever we are talking about the title of the poem. So, a quotation mark open after poem, and then it will be ending and it will be closing at daffodils, after daffodils. And in the last, you can see it's what? It's a proper noun because it's the name of the poet over here. So, we will capital W over in William and W in Wordsworth too, and then we will put full stop. Okay, and then the rest you have to do in the same way only. Exercise number B, insert colons at suitable places in the following sentences. So, you have to put colon at wherever it is necessary, like we have to put the colon at the correct place. So, gobble to eat food too fast. So here we are separating the word with its meaning. So what we will, after gobble we will put colon, and rest you have to do in the same way only. C exercise, insert semicolon at suitable places in the following sentences. Now we have to insert what? A semicolon, and at the correct place. It is pleasant outside, I will go for a walk. So we will put semicolon after outside because we are separating two independent sentences over here. So we will put semicolon after outside, and rest you have to do in the same way only. The last exercise of this chapter, that is exercise number D. Punctuate the sentences using commas, quotation marks, colons and semicolons. Now we have to put the commas, quotation marks, colons and semicolons at the correct place. Jason went to India to see the Taj Mahal in Agra, the Red Fort in New Delhi and the Charminar in Hyderabad. So Jason, J is capital, so we don't have to do anything over here. Jason went to India to see. Now we are introducing a list. So what we will put? A colon over here. And then after that, the Taj Mahal in Agra, comma, the Red Fort in New Delhi and the Charminar in Hyderabad, full stop. So this was the correct punctuations being put in this sentence. So rest you have to do in the same way only. So this was all about chapter number 14. I hope you have understood chapter number 14, punctuation. Stay fit, stay at your home.